What's going on, everyone? So I did a video diving into the likelihood of a Ghostface cult, which I do truly believe is the direction that they're probably going to go, more so now than ever, primarily because of the word that Scream 8 is already in development, right? That it's already been greenlit and that they're planning on making another film. From the moment Sidney or Nev Campbell signed on, there were rumors that they had the intentions of making a trilogy, a new trilogy, right? So that would give us 7, 8, and 9. If they're going to go that route and we're going to get a 7, 8, and 9, well, then that would mean that there's probably going to be some type of overarching story. There's probably going to be some type of, cult-esque element that they already laid the foundations to in Scream 5 and 6 that I believe that they'll finally kind of see the fruits of in the upcoming Scream 7. And I just think that that's probably the easiest, most natural direction to go. This idea of hey, this is only the beginning. You kind of set up and establish the cult in Scream 7. Then you have kind of that Infinity War style film in Scream 8, and then Scream 9 is the in-game film, right? Where you meet the big bad and you try to take down the cult. And maybe in the end, the idea is still alive, right? So you're never going to be able to get rid of it. It's kind of, I said in that video, it's how long can you survive at this point, right? You're never going to end the Ghostface, but how long can you survive for? Which I really like the idea of that, right? The survival element of it all. But if they really do go the Ghostface route, or the Ghostface cult route, right? One, I really want them, I don't want it to be in the traditional sense. I don't want them all standing around singing hymns and worshiping a Ghostface deity. I don't want anything like that. But I wouldn't mind if they did something where, it's a club, or it's more of an internet-based thing. But at the end of the day, whichever way they structure it or decide to go about it, there is going to be a leader. There is going to be somebody, or it could be somebodies, right? It could be 2 or 3. There's going to be somebodies that are at the helm, that are the organizers for this all. Whether it is just purely internet-based and it is just this forum, on the dark web or whatever, right? Somebody set it up. Somebody established it that had the idea of doing so and are probably just as crazy, if not crazier, than everyone else, right? Because they were the ones that thought this would be a great idea. If they go the kind of club route, well, again, there's still going to be kind of the organizer of it all. There's going to be somebody that is, again, at the head of the table that's going to be kind of calling shots or putting it all together. And then there's the route where it's just the traditional Ghostface route, the cult, and every cult has their cult leader, right? So, obviously, no matter how they go about it and structure it, there's going to be kind of that pecking order. There's going to be somebody or somebodies that are standing at the top. Somebody that is the overseer, the one that is responsible for kind of organizing and tying everything together. Right? Now, the question is, which direction do they go with that? Is it somebody new entirely? Is it some new kind of big bad that maybe is involved, attached with Sidney Prescott? Is it somebody that has maybe been there all along, right? Is it somebody Joel or Martha or something like that where you just don't see it or you don't expect it, or maybe Chad or, Mindy was really the mastermind all along, which I'm not really completely out on Mindy being involved to an extent. And look, so the core 4 is broken up, but not entirely, right? We know Chad is in this film. We know Mason Gooding's back. There's, a lot of thought that maybe Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mindy, is going to be back. If not this film, maybe at some point, right? She never said that she wouldn't come back or anything. Even Jenna Ortega didn't say that she quit because of what happened with Melissa. She said that she quit because of scheduling issues, right? So, you could tie it in that way. Obviously, the answer that everyone wants to, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to hear is that it's Stu, right? That Stu is the cult leader. There's a huge fan base that wants to see Stu return in some capacity, and Stu coming back and being the mastermind all along would make sense, kind of, kind of like this version of the Roman. I'm not really big on that idea. I mean, I don't really want Stu back, period. I'm not big on the idea of Stu coming back, period. But I just think it doesn't fit his character, right? From 96. He wasn't the mastermind. He wasn't the manipulator. He was the ditz. He was the one that was the patsy, right? He was the one that was manipulated and easily manipulated. Now, Kevin Williamson, who's back at the helm, he's the one that wanted Stu to kind of go the cult route. So originally they were going to do, so if you ever saw the show The Following, that was supposed to be Scream 3 originally. And then they ended up going a different route after Columbine, and so Kevin Williamson ended up turning that idea into the TV show The Following. So could they kind of go back and do the Stu route with the Ghostface cult? Possibly, and he's kind of the mastermind orchestrator. Like I said, I'm not really super huge on that idea. Plus, I kind of like the idea of like a redemption arc more with Stu. But it would kind of make sense that if you're going to have this kind of grand wizard at the top or whatever, right? Like that it would be somebody that people are familiar with, somebody that everyone's like, oh, I look at it as like, not Stu, but just generally, right? Like, if they're really going to do a trilogy, you have these people that, the new showrunners, right? The new Spyglass and everything, keep just kind of emulating the original. So if they're going to do that, there's going to be that Roman guy, right? Maybe not Sidney's brother, maybe not a brother sense, but in the sense of he was the one that orchestrated it all in the end, right? So if they really are going to go this route, then you got to imagine there's going to be somebody that was all, involved in the manipulator all along. Could it be something where it was Stu and they have this like tie-in to where, Billy thought Stu was the fall guy, but really he wasn't. Really, he knew what was going on all along. He was in on it. Like, he just kind of played the role, right? I don't know, like, how much would that take away and ruin his character, right? Like, would it even ruin his character? I think to some it might, but I think a lot of, like, Stu fans would love it and kind of look past it. But regardless, right, like, there's got to be that grand orchestrator, right? There's got to be the guy at the top that is responsible and organizing this, or at least, the main group. But even then, like, let's say it's like a group of three. Say it's like three, masters or whatever, right? Well, one of them is going to believe that they're the master of the masters, right? Like, type of thing. So I still think in the end there would be that grand sort of bad guy, right? And I just think if you're really going to set up and you're going to build up and establish this trilogy, there's probably some grand overarching story. Again, I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty confident that's probably how it's going to go. That there's going to be this kind of grand story that kind of takes place and, everything. And like, yeah, even if they have like this conclusiveness to each film, I think there's going to be this kind of the main idea, whether it's the cult or whatever, is what is continuing to progress throughout each film. And I just think it ultimately leads to that one, right? I mean, every Scream movie, there's that one. Like, even if there's multiple Ghostface, I mean, Dermot Mulroney, his character, Detective Bailey, he was the one that put it together. Amber was the one, the manipulator, right? Like, you had, like Billy and Stu. Roman was the one in the end. I mean, even over Billy and Stu, right? But Billy was the one, right? Mrs. Loomis was the one, right? Jill was the one. Every Scream film has like the one that is the orchestrator, right? Is the one that either put it together or is secretly manipulating behind the scenes or whatever, right? And I just think that you're going to ultimately have that in the end. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think that there should be the one? What do you want that one to be? Do you want it to be You know, like I said, do you want it to be Stu? Do you want it to be somebody else? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.